Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. My name is David, and today I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Liz and Gordon. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hello.
Thanks for having us, David.
Of course, we've been off for a couple weeks. Fall is in the air, unless you're here in Philadelphia. Then the only thing in the air is humidity. But technically, it is the kickoff of fall, so, that's good stuff. Great. Good start. Welcome, everyone, across...
It's been a while, David. It's been a while.
I know.
We're warming up. Welcome, everyone, on Twitter and X1 and Flex, wherever you are. On today's show, we'll kick off a celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. We'll go play in traffic with Peacock's riveting new reality series, preview the fall's biggest video game releases, chat with the stars of Diary of a Future President, and take a look at this week's biggest premieres and finales. But first, let's kick things off, as always, within the news. On Sunday night, MTV celebrated its 40th birthday during the 2021 MTV Video Music Awards live from Brooklyn, New York. Lil Nas X took home the awards for Video of the Year, Best Direction, and Best Visual Effects for Montero, Call Me By Your Name. Olivia Rodrigo and Driver's License claimed awards for Song of the Year, Best New Artist, and Push Performance of the Year. And Justin Bieber took home Artist of the Year and Best Pop Video for Peaches. Liz, Gordon, these are all names that, are familiar to you?
I understood all three names. I'm so excited.
Did you? All right.
Same. And I have blasted Olivia Rodrigo's song in the car. I may know some lyrics, So, yes, I felt good about those three.
Olivia Rodrigo owns the only song on my jogging playlist recorded in this century. The song is Good For You, which is an awesome, you broke with me and I hate you kind of song. So a contemporary artist who I'm familiar with. Good job, David.
Awesome. Well, as you both know, I was lucky enough to be live and in attendance at the Barclays Center for the VMAs, and I caught a lot of fun behind-the-scenes tidbits, including this video right here that I shot of Shawn Mendes watching his girlfriend Camila Cabello perform from across the stage. And don't we love a supportive boyfriend? Look at him jamming along with her performance of Don't Go Yet. It was one of those cool moments that you can only catch by being there. They were actually performing back to back, so they were facing each other from across the pit in the center of the stage. And I just thought it was so cute that he was kind of grooving along with her performance, even as he was preparing to do his own. So I thought that was pretty cool. One of the other... Go ahead, Gordon.
So those people are dating that you said their names?
They are dating, okay. Have been for a while. I mean, that's what I understand. They appeared at the Met Gala yesterday together as well and looked absolutely adorable. So
yes.
I believe they're still going strong.
This has lasted longer than we thought, actually. This has been a while.
Who knows? I mean, who knows with these celebrities? What is a long time? What
Young
isn't?
love.
Here's another shot that I took. This was during the Foo Fighters performance. They had plastered like every portion of the arena with old video clips and old videos of the Foo Fighters. It was really, really cool. One of the things that stood out to me is that being there live is that clearly the winners know they're going to win. I noticed that a few stars, including Billie Eilish, were brought out to their seats right before they actually won. And when Olivia Rodrigo won Song of the Year, the only cameraman on the stage was posted up right in front of her to catch her reaction. So there was no question who was going to win. And it's interesting they have like an MC or a production assistant who comes out and tells the audience specifically how to clap, tells them to clap above their heads because it looks good on camera. So everyone was like clapping like this for the cameras. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Hey,
I don't know.
Look good.
I don't know.
How good this looks.
I mean,
right.
You're just clapping down here. You can't see it. But up here,
or like a
great.
little, I like one of these. More subdued.
Yeah.
But if I mean it.
Right. If you mean it.
Thanks, MTV.
Right above your head. But there were 4 performances that really blew me away. And Doja Cat hanging from the rafters performing Been Like This. And you're right, I know you don't know Doja Cat, but she looked amazing in person. It was not as great on TV, but it was just incredible. 100 times better in performance or in person. Chloe had a star-making night with her first solo live TV performance of Have Mercy. No recollection of Chloe. Normani. Okay, Normani blew up social media with her performance of Wild Side, which ended with her hanging upside down while straddling Tiana Taylor. It was a show-stopping moment. And of course, the Foo Fighters, which I know everyone knows, they were given the Global Icon Award, did a medley of Learn to Fly, Shame, Shame, and Everlong, and totally brought down the house.
Everlong's my jam.
It still holds up, and Dave Grohl still, you see some of these bands, especially older rock bands, who've just been screaming for decades, and they just don't have the voice. But Dave Grohl still kills it every single time, and it's album quality performances in my opinion.
Now, as far as an event, I assume you go there and there's commercial breaks and things like that. Is it still like an awesome time, despite what goes into a television production?
Yeah, it was really interesting this year because of all the precautions that they took with COVID. They were actually doing COVID rapid tests on site for people to get into certain areas of the venue, like the pit there that you see in the front of the Moon Man. Everyone was still wearing masks. You had to wear masks the entire time. They didn't have concessions open. There was no drinks. We did have snack boxes, which I should have brought here to show off. But, otherwise they took every precaution to keep people safe. You had to show your paper version of your vaccine card. It was a new era for live events like this, something I've never experienced, but still a really great time in person. And I think really seeing it on TV doesn't do it justice. Olivia Rodrigo hung above the ceiling. Lil Nas X had this drum line. Busta Rhymes was amazing. It just high energy, really great time.
Yeah, we're poking fun at you,
awesome.
David, but I imagine for younger folk like yourself, that had to be an awesome time. When else do you get to see? No, seriously, these are all I'm saying I don't know who they are because I'm old and that's accurate. But for a young person to get to check out all these amazing acts back to back to back must have been awesome.
Yeah, and Madonna came out. Madonna came out to open up the show for the 40th birthday of MTV. Madonna.
I don't know that one either.
You know exactly who that is.
Yeah. So if you are out there and you... Go ahead, Liz.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I love that you said that these winners knew exactly who was going to win, because I saw a post by Lizzo, who said, Lizzo is me anyway, on my Instagram handle. Lizzo.
We're calling you Lizzo from now on. By the way.
Yeah. Gosh, I can't believe I slipped up on here. Lizzo mentioned that she wasn't there and apparently was engaged in previous engagements while she was being announced as a winner. Have you seen this Instagram post?
No,
I didn't, but I'll have to check it out.
Check it out. So apparently, I won't repeat it on here. This is a family show, but I think she was a little busy when she found out that she won an award. So I thought that was pretty funny that you mentioned that they all knew.
What a tease!
Yeah.
Lizzle with the tease.
Lizzle
all right,
with
Lizzle,
the
we'll
tease.
check it out.
Oh my God!
Well, if you missed the VMAs or want to relive all of the performances, just say what to watch into your voice remote. You'll see the VMAs right at the top, and you can check it out. And now let's find out what's happening in the collections corner. Tomorrow marks the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month, and here to tell us more about this year's celebration is our very own Latino and international editor, Liz. Liz, what do you got for us?
Also known as Lizzle. Come on. That was like a real good opportunity for you there. But obviously, we are so excited to launch Hispanic Heritage Month at Xfinity. Xfinity, we do it big, right? And this year, bigger than ever, because we have a collection that is both bilingual and bicultural, that really does reflect la belleza that is our culture, and nuestra gente, right? So what you'll see here is that we have titles like a Boss and Cantinflas for those of us who remember those growing up. Our collection this year is going to be on X1, on Stream, and Flex. And so you'll be able to watch on the go and not just when you're home. So the celebration, again, is big. And we have a free preview of content for that first entire week. So September 15th through September 21st, we have free content available to all of our customers that you can watch. And I encourage you to binge. So things like the first season of Diary of a Future President, which you see there, and which we'll talk about a little later as well. We also have concerts and movies, kids collections. We also have special collections that'll help with trivia and tell me without telling me, and how it started and how it's going collections. And then tons of music and concerts. So I, again, am ready to binge, and I hope you are too, because again, this is a huge celebration like only Xfinity knows how to do, again, on all of our platforms. And make sure that you check out all of our really great content, especially because we have some recommendations from some celebrities like Becky G and Jaime Mayol. So we are really excited. So I'm not a guest editor. I am one of the editors, but I also have a recommendation. So, and I know you guys do too, but I'll go ahead and get started. So my recommendation for this month is Yo Soy la Salsa. Now, this to me is super important because this is the Johnny Pacheco story. And this will walk you through the life of Johnny Pacheco, how he starts. He's the musical director and creator of the Fania Music and Fania All-Stars, which I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but these are he was the founding father of the salsa movement in New York in the 60s and 70s. And this is where salsa was originated. And so the Fania All-Stars, if you know salsa, if you love salsa, if you are Latino and you love this music, this is definitely a movie that I would recommend so that you can learn a little more about our Dominican American friend, Johnny Pacheco. What about you, Gordon? Do you have a recommendation?
I do. Now, you gave us so many amazing titles to choose from. It was tough, but fortunately on that list was one of my all-time favorites, that being the 1997 biopic, Selena. If you're unfamiliar with this movie, if you're a younger person who likes your Lil Nas X and your Justin Bieber's, it's a movie about the singing sensation Selena, who was just on the precipice of becoming one of the biggest names in music until her life was tragically cut short. It stars Jennifer Lopez. Before she was J-Lo, before she was Bennifer, one half of Bennifer, she played the role of Selena, and she is amazing in this role to the degree that I'm a huge Andy Kaufman fan. I've read his autobiography 6 different times, but Jim Carrey in Man in the Moon did such a good job playing Andy Kaufman that sometimes when I think of Andy Kaufman, I actually see Jim Carrey. It's the same thing with Jennifer Lopez. She just really disappeared in this role. It's inspirational. It's amazing. It's heartbreaking. She did a fantastic job. So my pick is Selena. Check it out. David, what do you got for us?
Well, before I read my pick, Liz, I'm so excited that you mentioned Becky G as a guest editor, because I got to interview her a few years ago for Power Rangers, and she is one of the sweetest, nicest, most down-to-earth, humble young stars. And I think it's always like nice to say when you meet somebody and they're like better than you could have expected, because not everyone is. Most people are good, but like Becky was next level, the sweetest person. So check out her stuff because she's just a good person.
That's awesome.
Plug for
like Dolly
Becky.
Parton.
Plug for Becky.
Yeah. So my pick is Coco. the Disney Pixar movie. Back in 2017, I was fortunate enough to actually go to Pixar Studios to interview the filmmakers behind Coco. And it ended up being one of the most memorable and actually moving experiences of my life. Coco was so much more than a movie for so many people at Pixar and beyond. It was representation. It was about seeing their culture and families and lives on the big screen. And what's so great about Pixar is that they really get everyone involved in making their movies, from lead animators to cleanup animators to storyboard people to the cafeteria barista, literally, to the people who work on the business side of the studio. And Pixar really tapped into their Latino community and said, tell us about your family. And we talked to folks who said, I told a story about my grandmother hitting us with a flip-flop. And then I saw it on screen. And someone told us a story about how they mentioned that every time they went back home, someone was pregnant. It didn't matter. Every time they went back home, a new person was pregnant. And they said the next time they saw the storyboards, there was a character who was not pregnant, who was now pregnant in the movie. And he said, I just couldn't believe that they listened to me and were incorporating all of these little things into the movie. But the thing that really stood out to me was just how proud and excited they were to be a part of this film. So when I watched it with all of this information in mind, I cried a guttural cry that I had to basically scream into a pillow because I was so happy for them and for this movie. I was like, I couldn't catch my breath at the end because I was just so happy for them. So that's a long-winded way of saying Coco is just such an incredible achievement for so many reasons. If you haven't seen it, why? Check it out this month and just appreciate the representation and the story that they're telling here, because so many people put so much love into it. So that's my plug.
Thank you for that. I love that. And I really appreciate that, because this year's collection, Mi Gente Presente, is just that, David. It really is. We're celebrating the trajectory and the accomplishments of our Latino people, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And so these stories really do tell so much more than just a story. To your point, they really do represent our culture, represent our people in ways that that is just so beautiful and melded into the story that it just becomes part of the story. So we're super excited. We have tons of content and wonderful movies and stories and concerts that you will be busy all month. I swear, you will be busy all month checking out our collection. So again, my last plug for it, probably not, because I'll talk about it some more, but definitely make sure that you go ahead and check it out by saying Latino into your remote.
And Liz, I think it's important to mention once more that you don't have to speak Spanish to enjoy this content. It's bilingual for the most part. So somebody like me who took 7 years of Spanish and can't speak a lick of it can still go and enjoy all of this content.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up again, right? So historically, so many of our collections year over year have been really focused on our Spanish language, which was beautiful and definitely a part of our culture as well. What we heard from our customers and from the community at large is, we love the Spanish language stuff, but guess what? We're watching so much more than just that. And there are different stories that tell our story in a different way in English as well. And so this collection, again, is for the entire household. So all the way from abuela, bisabuela, down to the kids who are in school. And even if you are not Latino, it is such a great time to get to know this beautiful culture and our wonderful stories. So thanks for that.
Love it. Love it. And there's one other way that we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. You can say In the Heights into your voice remote to watch the new movie musical at a special discounted price. Great movie. Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote, produced it. Check it out. It's good. It's really good. And of course, as Liz said, say Latino into your voice remote to check out Liz's collection. And now it's time to chat with some famous people. It's time for Hangouts. Disney Plus recently released season 2 of its hit family series Diary of a Future President, and Liz had the opportunity to chat with the show's creator and cast. Liz, tell us more about it.
Yeah, I really did. And I was so excited. This was my very first interview. And I got to do it with the cast of Diary of a Future President to talk about all things within both season 1 and season 2. Super excited because I got to talk to not only the cast, but the creator and executive producer, Elena Peña, who is a Cuban American and wrote this story because for the simple reason that she said, hey, I'm not seeing myself on TV. So we have a clip of the actual interviews, but of course, as always, if you want to see the full interview, say Latino into your voice remote within the collection, it will be there. But let's watch this clip with not only Elena, but with Selene Sleva as well, who plays the mother.
I had such high expectations for this year. Now I feel so lost.
Bit by bit, she's pushing me away.
You're not growing apart. She's just growing up.
I'm their mother. I'm supposed to help them solve their problems, not give them problems.
Have you met a Latina mother?
I'm trying to break the cycle.
Don't shut out the people who are eager to lift you up. You're more annoying than my mom. You and I are the same person.
Being there for you is kind of my job.
Being there for others and lifting them up. That's what I want to do. I'm ready.
How did you, at this point in your life and in your career, what made you write a story like this?
Well, I always have wanted to write about like girlhood and celebrate girlhood. I feel like we see a lot of boyhood stories that are great, and I grew up watching them, but rarely does the media, I think, give young women the permission to be messy and flawed and failing and then learning from their failures. And I really, really wanted to do that. And I wanted to tell my story. I wanted to tell the story of a Cuban American girl. And I also wanted, a lot of these are origin stories. And I was like, well, maybe we don't need to make her a television writer. So I was like, why not make her the most powerful woman in the world? And then see how she gets there and see how it's okay to be messy and flawed and fail and learn from your failures and that it's all a journey. I just really wanted to honor the journey.
Tell me what a role like this right now means to you at this point in your career.
Liz, growing up, I didn't see myself being represented in any form in media, right? And if there was any inkling of someone that remotely looked like me, it was always in a negative light. The stereotypes that surround Latino representation are so specific, and they're always very, very negative for the most part. So to be part of something that celebrates the other side of Latinidad, which is, we are educated, we have jobs, and we have regular families. Imagine that. Like, families are families in any shape or form. So to celebrate it in this way, to celebrate this type of representation from me, coming from a place of, I didn't think that I would ever play a mother on a show that was successful, that was a role model, that was coming from a place of a celebration of who we are, and it's not, this show, yes, it celebrates Latino culture, it celebrates diversity in a beautiful way, but it's a family show, period,
right? Like, Selenis could not have said it any better. Like, this was, if I had to choose who I was going to come out and like interview for the very first time, I could not have picked a better group of people. The story is wonderful. When we talk about representation, I mean, what Elena and what Selenis are talking about is something that is just so moving, right? The fact that at this point, and Elena's a little younger, right? But she wrote something that she just, because she couldn't see herself on TV, she wrote a show about it, right? And Selenis, who has been doing this for a while, has saying that, she's never been able to play a Latina in such a positive role. So super exciting. So make sure that you check out season 1. It will be free that entire week. I said free, right? Free. Watch the entire season. I promise you won't regret it.
Wait a minute.
We didn't tell you.
Is it free?
It's free $99. $3.99.
$3.99.
Such a really great story. And again, make sure that you watch the entire interview because I interviewed more people. We had some really great conversations, not just about representation, but as Selenis mentioned on here, this show truly is all about family, regardless of your culture, right? It truly does represent the beauty and the dynamics of a mixed family, a family who are merging families. So beautiful. And in one of our conversations, and again, I don't want to give away too much because I want you to watch, but one of our conversations, we talked about like crazy things that you did in your house that you thought were kind of normal until you got older. And the reason for this conversation is because Selenis' character, actually, she puts bananas in the refrigerator. She washes towels after every use. And so we got to talking. And in my house, huge polarizing thing in my house is where does the ketchup go? Does it belong in the refrigerator or is it in the cupboard? And then I didn't know that was such a thing in my house. It's usually in the refrigerator. And I didn't realize that other people didn't put it in the refrigerator until I went off to college. So I want to toss it to you guys, right? Like, what quirky things that you thought were normal did you do in your family that you later realized maybe we weren't so normal?
Well, I can say for one that absolutely ketchup goes in the fridge. But when you think about it, like a lot of diners keep bottles of ketchup out all the time. But yeah, ketchup in the fridge. One thing I recently discovered was my family always kept maple syrup in the fridge. We never had like real maple syrup growing up. I grew up on log cabin. Shout out to log cabin, artificial syrup substitute. And I can't even eat regular maple syrup. It's log cabin or nothing for me. But anyway, that's in the fridge as well because you want the cold syrup over the warm pancakes. You don't want room temperature syrup on hot pancakes. It's the juxtaposition. And also, I had in past tense, a stepmom who kept butter on the table all the time, not in the fridge. And it had this like weird, gooey, like glazed over look to it that I've never thought about it, Liz, until you brought this up, that's not maybe healthy or right. The butter.
I mean, if you're going to use it in like the span of a day or two, I think leaving it out is fine. And I love that you bring that up because it also came up in one of our interviews. The whole butter piece came up as well. But like, I can't imagine that stick of butter sitting out for an entire week in 90-degree weather on the counter. Right. Like, I'm just going to skip the butter, honestly.
Yeah, and I think if you're baking, there's a process of like softening butter that means you leave it out overnight or things along those lines. But like permanently, put it in the fridge with your maple syrup, with your ketchup, all go in the fridge.
Yeah, I love it. The last thing I'll mention that I literally was like last month year old when I discovered that my mom used to tell us not to take a shower during a lightning or thunderstorm because if it hit the house, it would kill you in the shower because somehow the lightning would come down through the pipes.
That's a real thing.
It's not a real thing. I just found out.
It is a real thing. You couldn't use the landline. You couldn't use a landline when it was thundering out either.
My mom used to say, like, you can't get your shower. There's a storm coming. And I mean, when you're kids, like, you never want to take a shower. So you're like, oh, I think lightning's coming. I don't want to take my shower in case it kills me.
No, your mom's right.
But it's not a real thing, apparently. But
it's a real thing.
Yeah. How about you, Gordon?
So I guess, so a thing around our household. So when I was in college, came down with a really bad cold. And I did what you do when you have a bad cold. You take your blankets and you crawl into the bathtub and you sleep there. My girlfriend came over to take care of me, could not find me in my bedroom, and was shocked to find me in my bathroom in my tub, as everybody does when they're sick. So a couple months later, we're visiting my parents in Las Vegas, and my sister's there. And my brother-in-law says, you know what your sister did to me? And I'm like, no. And he goes, so I'm sick. And she tells me to go sleep in the bathtub. And my girlfriend's like, what? And Jared's like, don't you guys remember when we were kids, if we got sick, Mom would make us sleep in the bathtub because if we threw up, it would be easier to clean up. I thought everybody did this. That is not the case. That is exclusive to my family. We're not proud of it, but it's a thing. But now that I know that, I haven't slept in a tub since. So the curse is broken, I guess, apparently. So that's the thing. You wonder, why am I like this? And then you can always tie it back to some parents and some kind of leaving butter out or maple syrup or ketchup or go sleep in the bathtub.
Yeah. And listen, and it's always our parents' fault. Like we could literally point every crazy thing that we do in our life back to our parents, but including one more. So I do have one more. So I thought for a long time this was just like our house, and then I found out that it was like a Latino thing where a lot of people did this, but we used Vicks for a lot of things. Like Vicks was just like, that cured everything. And so if you were not feeling well, Ponte Vicks means put on some Vicks, and everything was Ponte Vicks. Like I have a cough, Ponte Vicks. I'm sneezing, Ponte Vicks. Like, I mean, Vicks cured everything. And so when my kids were growing up, the doctor told me, and I'll never forget this, I told the doctor that I put Vicks on the kids' feet and I put socks on them. And it works. It takes their cough away and they're able to sleep all night. So I don't know. Maybe we just like stumbled across some crazy cure for everything. But definitely Vicks you never ran out of Vicks in our house for sure. Mosquito bites, literally anything.
I know. We use Vicks for, I think, colds and whatnot. I feel like I've heard the Vicks and then socks thing somewhere before.
It works.
So I'm pretty sure it works.
All right, cool. So
do not use the advice of the Xfinity editors in lieu of medical advice. But I'm pretty sure all that stuff works.
We're obviously not medical professionals.
We're not medical professionals.
Sure. No.
But we're probably right. We're probably right about all this stuff.
Well, on that note, check out Liz's full interview with Elena and Selena starting tomorrow by saying Hangouts or Latino into your voice remote. And you can also check it out on the Hangouts playlist on Xfinity's YouTube channel. So let us move on now and take a trip back to 1981 in a segment we call Editor's Picks. Peacock is poised for a huge fall TV season with premieres of brand new series and seasons, including Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol, Days of Our Lives Beyond Salem, AP Bio, American Ninja Warrior Jr., Top Chef Family Style, Backyard Blowout, Code 404, Unidentified with Demi Lovato, One of Us is Lying, and The Kids Tonight Show. But one of the Peacock shows we've been looking forward to the most is based on the classic 1981 Konami arcade game, Frogger. And luckily, we have our very own gaming editor, Gordon, here to tell us all about this wild series. Gordon?
Oh, David, so earlier when you said it was riveting, you were referring to Frogger. That was a frog pun. Thank you, David.
It all makes sense now. You're welcome.
Yes. So my punny. Favorite, yes, so punny. Well done, well done. We done yet? So there was no watch here, by the way, just a wrist. So my favorite genre of TV show, aside from holiday baking, is People Falling. And Frogger has got that in spades. It's one of those shows like The Floor is Lava, like Wipeout, where people try to go through a crazy obstacle course. This one is, of course, based on the popular 80s video game Frogger, so I was into it. The first episode launched on Peacock last week, and I love it. Kyle Brandt and David Wayans Jr. are your hosts. David Wayans Jr. from one of my favorite shows, Happy Endings. They do a fantastic job keeping it light and funny as people do their best to get across this crazy obstacle course. They get 3 lives, just like the original Frog and Frogger, to make it their way through, and the winner can win big bucks if they don't croak. That was for you, David. That was for you. But yeah, it's on Peacock. Just say Frogger in your Xfinity voice remote to check out an exciting and fun game show that I'm certainly enjoying.
Yeah, it's really fun, and they have like this final round where they have to go around and collect little baby frogs that the king toad has kidnapped, and they have to bring it back to their little playpens. It's really a lot of fun, and they do a better job of explaining, like, with Floor's Lava, you're like, well, how much of your body has to be immersed in lava before you're out? Like, they explain that,
like in real life, just the littlest bit of lava, but on the show, it's different.
Right. Your pinky toes in, you're dead in real life. Yeah. But they do a really good job of explaining the rules of this, and ultimately you don't care. It's a lot of fun. And to your point, Damon Wayans Jr. and Kyle Brandt are really funny and don't mind poking fun at the contestants a little bit, which I really liked.
Yeah, and kudos to them, because the storyline for the original Frogger was just get a frog across the street. There's not a lot of narrative weight there. But they did a good job of introducing the boss character and saving the boss's frog babies. So it gets you here too. It makes you think. How would I get across that lily pad? So yeah, it works on several levels.
God, I love this show. I'm writing this down. I'm making sure that I go ahead and watch that this week. So Frogger on Peacock. I can't wait to check it out.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, but some people get wet.
I love it.
I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
And Gordon, it's actually the perfect time for a TV show based on a video game, because fall is the biggest time of the year for gaming. And I know you've been tracking some of the season's most highly anticipated releases, correct?
Yes, sir, I have. Fall is the time of year where the biggest games are released and building up to the holiday season, because they want you to buy them for Christmas. From now until the beginning of December, you're just going to see week after week more and more games being released. I know what you're thinking. There's so many, Gordon. How can I possibly keep track of all of them? Well, don't you worry. I got your back. If you say gaming in your Xfinity voice remote, it'll take you to the gaming section on X1 and Flex, where we have the fall's hottest games, which is a month-by-month breakdown of all of the industry's biggest releases: September, October, November, December. If you see a game that interests you, you click on in there, and then you have news, reviews, previews, gameplay, all kinds of information to help you make a decision to learn about these games. It's fully comprehensive. All these games are located in there. Be sure to check it out. I wanted to take a second to tell you the games I'm excited about. Starting off with, which is releasing today, Deathloop, which is from the group that made the Dishonored series, which is one of my personal favorite game series. It's kind of like, imagine the Groundhog Day takes place in the 60s, and you're a hitman. So you have to keep, like, you have a 24-hour cycle to take out the people you need to take out. And if you don't do it, you start over from the beginning. It's really got a really creative art style. It's getting rave reviews all around the gaming industry. So that's something I cannot wait to check out if I ever get some free time, because as a new father, I don't get a lot of that. Another game I want to talk about is House of Ashes, which is coming out October 22nd. That's the latest in the Dark Pictures saga, which is a series of awesome, unrelated horror games that almost play like movies. They made Man of Medan, which took place on a creepy boat, Little Hope, which took place in a creepy town, and House of Ashes takes place in a creepy cave. It's really fun. It's really creepy. Perfect for Halloween, so I cannot wait to check that one out. Also coming up, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Marvel powerhouse, is getting its own title on October 26th. Can't wait to see what Star-Lord and the rest of his buddies get into. Also, October 29th, Mario Party Superstars. Nintendo's got a lot of interesting games coming out. Metroid Prime, WarioWare, but the one, Mario Party, is near and dear to my heart. Quick aside, the very first quasi-date my wife and I ever had was playing Mario Party, and she did win. And it wins most of the time, which Mario Party's got this thing at the end where they like award stars for like random reasons. Like, oh, this person landed on the most red spots, give them a star. So I feel like I've lost some Mario Party games unfairly. But that's neither here nor there. As long as everybody's having fun, we're all winning. I'm just saying, Nintendo, give more stars for things that require, for like winning more games. That's the whole thing. And then finally, Halo Infinite. That's the big one everybody's excited for. Comes out December 8th on Xbox. It was delayed. It was supposed to originally be a launch title, but Master Chief is back in business, and I will be there on day one. I will make spare time to play that game. So once again, it's holiday. It's fall's hottest games. Check it out. Gaming on your Xfinity voice remote. And how about you folks? Any games you're excited for?
Well, it's very interesting that you mentioned the Man of Medan, the like horror boat game. I was actually going to start that today. It's on Xbox Game Pass, and so I was going to play that today with our fellow editor Scott. We have a gaming date tonight to have a horror game night.
I fully condone that. Like, it's an interesting style of game because it's like you're playing a movie. And if you're into it, like they are, and here's something, being a new father, some people complain that a game's not long enough. That's not a thing anymore. Like, I like my game short and sweet, and Man of Medan is short and sweet. So fullest, highest recommendation for that one. Let me know how you guys like it.
I will. And I think it's funny you mentioned the length of games. Like, it used to be back in the day, I mean, when we were like kids or teenagers, you just never wanted something to end. But I was recently playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I'm like, God, I cannot look at these blue and yellow dots anymore. Please. Like, if you ask me to do anything, I don't want to go search for any more treasure. I don't want to find any more people to kill. Like, just end it for me. I just want to know. I want to move on. But
wrap it up.
Also, to about Deathloop, I'm not sure I'm ready after this last year or so of the pandemic for a game that just has me repeating the same thing over and over again. Like, that was life recently.
Come on, David.
I know, it sounds like torture.
Day after day.
No more.
Torture.
The same day over and over again.
Liz, are your kids big gamers?
They really aren't. I mean, they do play some games, and this is going to make me sound like such a parent. They play some games on the computer. I'm not really sure what it is that they play. I think, maybe Roblox, but I think that's kind of old, and I have no idea. Very popular. Honestly. I know, but I it's a shame. I think it one tells my age and how much gaming I do, in that the last game that I played was Super Mario. Like, honestly, like, that's how long ago it was. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time, but I love that they're shorter now. I might check it out for sure.
I'm going to get you into Liz. I'm going to get you into Fortnite. It's going to happen. You and me. We're gonna be a battalion.
Let's do it. I do think my kids. Yeah, I think my kids do play Fortnite too. So maybe I'll get them to teach me how to do it. Is that the one where you build houses? No, that's not that one. What's that? Sims. They play Sims.
You build some houses in Fortnite. You build forts.
Thinking Minecraft?
Okay. I'll give you partial credit for that. That might be
Minecraft, Sims, Fortnite, and that's as much as I know that they play. Sorry, not helpful.
Well, quick recommendation. Gordon knows this game as well, but there's a game called KO City, Knockout City. It's a dodgeball game that Scott and I play for way too many hours, way too late into the night.
That's the perfect example of gaming as a dad. Is Scott is like, you need to play KO City, and I'm like, I'll do it for you, Scott. So I download the game. As soon as it's downloaded, I turn it on. Baby starts crying. No more game. So finally, I get online with David and Scott at the same time. All three of us are going to play a video game together. We get one round into it, and then baby cry. Gotta go, guys. Bye.
5 hours later.
And you wonder why I don't know modern musicians.
The sun is coming up, and I'm like, Scott, I think I have to go to bed. I have to work in 1 hour. Anyway.
Wow.
Gaming. And you can check out Gordon's full fall gaming collection, as he said, by saying gaming into your remote. And as always, before we head out for the week, we will help you arrange your TV watch list with Plan Ahead. Fall TV is finally here, and you can check out the biggest and best new and returning shows through November by saying Fall TV into your voice remote. This week's premieres include a contemporary anthology, An Ordinary Joe, A Big Leap, A Waltz in the Ballroom, and a return to the world of the Da Vinci Code. And Liz is going to tell us all about it. Liz?
Yeah.
It's September, and not only is it back to school, but it's back to some really great TV. And this week, the premieres won't disappoint. We're going to start off on September 16th with The Premise on Hulu. This is a half-hour anthology series that depicts the craziness that is our life today, with topics like social media and sex, gun control, social injustice. You know, all the things that we do talk about, but usually in private. We've got some really great characters played by Tracy Ellis Ross, Daniel Day Kim, and Ben Platt. Also on September 16th, we are premiering Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol on Peacock. This is for all my fans of the Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and the international bestseller by the same name, The Lost Symbol. This is following the symbologist who was invited to participate in a crime investigation and finds himself deep in deadly puzzles and conspiracy theories, all in order to save his kidnapped mentor. On September 20th, we're going to start off with NBC's Ordinary Joe. This is a new series that follows Joe, who gets to live out 3 parallel lives depending on decisions that he made at a pivotal point in his life. I mean, we've all thought, what if? Well, Joe actually gets to live them out. Does he make decisions based on love, loyalty, or passion? Joe is played by Jimmy Walk from House. Also on September 20th, we have The Big Leap on Fox. The Big Leap follows people from all walks of life as they compete to be a part of the dance competitive reality show. These underdogs are all about taking chances, chasing dreams, and taking back what's theirs. Scott Foley, Terry Polo, and Piper Parabo won't disappoint. In case you have not watched the other 29 seasons of Dancing with the Stars, let me remind you that this is a dance competition show that pairs a celebrity with a professional dancer as they compete for not only bragging rights, but for the coveted Mirror Ball. Dancing with the Stars on ABC also premieres on Monday, September 20th. Rounding out our Monday night is NCIS Hawaii on CBS. This is the 4th series in the NCIS franchise, but the very first time that we have a woman in a lead role, and that's being played by Vanessa Lachey. She's Hawaii's first female special agent in charge of NCIS Pearl Harbor. This investigation, high-stakes crime series will not disappoint.
Of course, to make way for these new fall shows, we have to say goodbye to some of summer's biggest hits, and Gordon is going to tell us about this week's finales. Gordon?
All right, let's start things off with the finale of Miracle Workers Oregon Trail, which is wrapping up tonight on TBS. We'll see what happens when the wagon train faces its final showdown. What is the final showdown, you ask? Well, if my 5th grade computer course taught me anything, I'm going to say it's against dysentery. I hope they make it. Tomorrow night, we've got the ending of 2 big competition reality shows. Starting off with MasterChef Legends. Celebrity chef Curtis Stone will appear as a judge as the final 3 competitors battle it out in this 2-part finale. Will our Master Chef be Autumn, the bartender, Kelsey, the physical therapist, or maybe Sue, the food blogger? Tune into Fox tomorrow night to find out. Over on NBC, we've got the ending of America's Got Talent. This season had a talent pool deeper than Simon Cowell's V-neck shirts. Who's going to take home the $1 million prize? Who will prove they've got the most got talent? Tune in to NBC tomorrow night to find out. Thursday night is the series finale of Brooklyn Nine-Nine over on NBC. Heartbreaking, I know. Personally, I rank this up there with the modern comedy classics like The Office, Parks and Rec, Community, Good Place. I hate to see them go. I love this show, but I'm hoping they go out with a bang and a hearty 9-9. And last but not least, this Monday is the season finale for Reservation Dogs on Hulu. What a fun surprise this show has been. Bear, Elora, Cheese, and Willie just win you over with this often funny, occasionally heartbreaking coming-of-age comedy. And if you're a fan of this quartet of young actors, got some good news for you.
The show has been picked up for a season 2. Can't wait to see what they have in store for us. And that is all I've got for finales. David, back to you, buddy.
Thanks, Gordon. And before we head out for the week, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the death of former SNL cast member, comedian, and actor Norm Macdonald. Norm reportedly secretly battled cancer for the last 9 years, hid it from friends and family and coworkers because he didn't want it to affect, according to his partner, the way people looked at him or his comedy. He passed away today at the age of 61. Norm is best known for his 5 years on SNL, which included 3 seasons as host of Weekend Update. He also starred in the 1998 movie Dirty Work and had his own sitcom, The Norm Show. Rest in peace, Norm. He was so effortlessly funny and gave us so many great moments, especially on SNL. Who can forget Burt Reynolds and Turd Ferguson was like one of the funniest things I'd ever seen, and still funny today. So that will do it for this week's episode. Special thanks to Diary of a Future President creator Ilana Pena and star Salinas Leyva for hanging out with us. And even bigger thanks to my fellow Xfinity editors, Lizzle and Gordon, for joining me today. If you want to check out the TV shows and movies we talked about, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities, just say what to watch into your voice remote or tune in here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern for a new episode. My name is David. Thank you for joining us on What to Watch Live.